Hi friends, I'm Julia and welcome to my garden. It is the end of May. It is absolutely beautiful here in my Vermont garden, and I will be planting some small junipers in my garden beds around my house. I love junipers. They come in lots of different sizes and shapes. You can get really big ones, and today we're working on ones that stay mostly small. They come in different colors. So you can see here I have this one is more of a blue. That one's got a little bit of a mix of blue and green, and this one has more green to it. I think there's also some varieties that can even be like more of a bright green color. Junipers can be found throughout a lot of the world, I think mostly in the northern hemisphere, and a lot of them are very hardy, which is great. We're in a USDA zone 5, so it can get down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit here during our winters. And I'll tell you more about each of these individual varieties, but one of them can even get down to zone 2. So very, very, very hardy, which is great. If you are in a zone 2 or 3, there's not as much that survives. So it's good to know what you can plant there. A couple more fun facts about junipers. They are in the cypress family and they are conifers, which might surprise you because when you think of a juniper, often you think of berries, and it turns out that those little blue berries are actually their cones. They're just really, really unique. I don't even know how to describe it. You can go look it up, but the berries are basically the cones and there's seeds inside. And actually some juniper berries are used to make gin. So there you go. Some of them can be pokey. You see me kind of feeling this. This one, the new growth is actually pretty soft. That's true of a lot of evergreens when you got the new growth, like on spruces and stuff too. But they can be a little bit pokey. Let me tell you more about these individual varieties. This one here, this is Blueberry Delight. It is a spreading juniper. It likes full sun. I believe most if not all junipers really like full sun. This one only gets 1 to 2 feet high and it gets 3 to 5 feet wide. So there you go, Blueberry Delight. I believe this should get some berries on it. I'm not 100% sure if it needs a pollinator or not. So either way, I thought that the structure and the color of it was really pretty, and I'm going to plant it over by my stone wall in one of my house beds. So you'll see in a few minutes where that is. This one is Blue Star Juniper, and this gets 2 feet tall to 2 feet wide. So it's also kind of a spreader, but it more stays in like a more compact little area. This is gonna go over in the bed with my weeping crabapple tree. And this actually, so there's different sizes on this. So this says it can get 3 to 4 feet wide and 2 to 3 feet tall. So, but still kind of more compact. It doesn't have like these longer limbs here. It's a different kind of spreading habit, and it has this gorgeous blue color. Yes. Okay. So this last one here is a gnome columnar juniper. Columnar meaning it's going to go up in that column kind of pyramidal shape, unlike my spreaders that I have. And this one gets 10 to 12 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. So it still stays pretty narrow, which is great for having, you know, in a garden bed. Doesn't take up too much room. I am going to put it basically right in the middle of my bed behind my children reading fountain. So I'm excited to have that vertical evergreen interest in the space. And this one feels like it has like blue and green in it to me. I think it's gorgeous. Okay, so you probably can hear my fountain is right here. I don't know if it's in the frame. This is where I'm going to stick the columnar one, right in the middle of this bed. This tree here is not going to be here for much longer. It did bloom beautifully this spring. It's a coral burst crabapple, but it's just kind of lopsided, and I don't love it here. So, and I need to take all these parts off too. But I'm hoping to take these parts off and actually maybe just temporarily at least put it in a pot or find somewhere else to it. I don't want to get rid of it. It's getting some cute berries, but you may be able to tell the back of it is I need to cut off these dead limbs. It's just, it's not great looking. I kind of stuck it here on impulse when I was first starting this bed, and we're changing things up. Sometimes you gotta change your mind and adjust. So instead we're gonna do this here. I might scooch this over a little bit. It's a little hard to figure out the exact placement, partly because it's on a slope, so it's always tilting. So you gotta picture when I plant it, I'm gonna plant it so that it's more straight and not, you know, tilted. So I'll have to work on that. It's gonna be a little more challenging. Again, this just gets 3 to 4 feet wide, so I don't have to worry too much. I kind of want all the plants in here to be a bit crammed. This is gonna get quite a bit bigger, but I'm hoping that this spacing will work out. If you picture 3 to 4 feet wide, if we have 4 feet wide, it's just 2 feet either way. And that, yeah, ignore this. I think this gets 6 to 8 feet wide from, so that's like 4 feet from center. So I think the placement's gonna work. I'm okay with them touching, so I think the placement will work out. So I think I'm gonna do right here. Planted in front of it are some hollyhocks that should be perennial. Again, I wanna cram plants in here, so it'll be good. I have my shovel, my gloves, and I do have biotone to put in the hole to help fertilize, and it's supposed to be good for, it has stuff in it, I think it's the mycorrhiza fungi, that's good for root development. So I like to use that when I'm planting perennials and shrubs. I find a lot of this size, like little rocks, which aren't really ideal for edging, but they're just everywhere. My daughter is trying to talk to the chipmunks, so that's what's happening over there. This is the Blueberry Delight one. I'm just gonna take this off now. So again, this is just gets like 1 to 2 feet tall and then 3 to 4 feet wide. It's a spreader. And I'm trying to avoid, I did just plant some tiny Lysianthus seedlings out here, so I'm trying not to step on those. So I'm okay with it going over the stones a little bit, but we do have help with mowing and such, and I don't want it to be run over. So I'm gonna be a little bit more cautious of how close it is there. I also, the stone wall comes out much farther than one would think it does. So we'll just find out when I'm digging how close I can go.
And I'm going to pop in to say hi.
You are saying hi right now.
Hi.
Okay. So sometimes I take out a measuring tape, but more often I assume my hands are about 6 inches from here to here. So I figure that's fine. So if this is here, let's see. So that would be like 1 foot, 2 feet would take it just touching the middle of that. So I think that'll be fine. I'm okay with that. So we'll just see. Okay, you do what you need to do with that chipmunk. we got those 2 in the ground, 1 more to go. I am so pleased with how these beds are turning out. If you've been following me for a little while, you'll know these are beds that were new last July. So I actually kind of rushed to create them in the summer before we had a big party for my daughter last year. So, and they were baby beds, right? We just stuck some plants in that I got from the nursery last year. So I could not be happier with how these are turning out. Pretty much every plant has come back and they're growing. I got buds on roses. I've got my 9 bark is blooming beautifully. I've got peonies that are blooming. I'm so happy with it. So I think it will be, and I'm looking at it, it's the sister bed over here is also looking fantastic. So I'm thinking soon it'll actually be time for an around the house tour again. I actually have a couple plants still in pots to go in. I'll look soon for a whole tour of how these beds are looking, but 2 junipers in for right now. Let's go do the last one. We've moved around the house a little bit. Now we're in my south garden bed where I have a Ruby Tears crabapple, and I planted some peonies and nepeta in here last fall. The nepeta looks fantastic. It is blooming. I love it. And I've been adding some things here and there, and again, I'll have to do another tour to show you in detail. But this is where we're going to put the blue star juniper. So there's conflicting things on there. One of them says it gets 2 feet wide and the other says 3 to 4 feet wide. So I'm going to give it enough space that it can get to that 4 feet, but knowing that it may not. So I think I know I have the perfect spot for it. So it's gonna go right here. It's hard to see them, but there's some iris I just planted in there, some Siberius iris that'll be purple, and a yellow rose right there. And then we might be able, I think we have a spot to put some things up here as well. Actually, I might scooch it over a little bit this way. I will figure out the exact placement, again, using my hands as measuring devices. Again, 4 feet max. It'll be 2 feet either side. Just make sure there's some room. I believe my Julia Child rose there is also supposed to get a max of 4 feet, but probably more like 3 feet. We'll see. I think it's at 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So yeah, again, if they're touching at the end, not the end of the world. Want things to be crowded in here eventually to get that like full cottagey garden look and to suppress the weeds. So this is also a very young bed. I did plant in here a bit last year. Last spring we put the tree in, and we've been clearing it out from, there was some pretty things, but it was a mess what was in here before. A lot of loose strife that just took over and is invasive. We're still dealing with some of it. There's some geranium that also was taking over that I'm letting a few stay for right now. And there's lily of the valley in some places I have to work on. Just a lot of invasive stuff that was just, again, it was just a mess. So we're clearing it out. We're making it more of my style and what I love to look at. So here we are. Let's make sure, yeah, that should be fine here. So we did come in and I added a little bit more soil in places where it was low, and then we put cardboard and mulch. The cardboard here generally only lasts for a season at most, to help suppress some of the weeds, and it disintegrates fairly fast. We use the ones that don't have writing and stuff on it. And then the no color for sure. I've been working on edging out this bed more. It's not done. Okay, can you see it over there behind me? I don't know, but I am so pleased. I think it looks gorgeous where it is. And all three of my junipers are in the ground. Now that last one, it was hard to keep well watered in its can, so I'm very happy to have it in. I gave it a really good drink and hopefully it will root in and be super happy. Even though this time of year can be a little overwhelming, I have a lot of things to do all at once. I still remember how it felt in winter when I was staring out that window waiting to garden. So I am beyond happy for this weather and to be out here planting with you today. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you next time. Happy gardening, friends.